Yeah, Becky's coming in now. We're waiting on Brockton, Kingston, and Plymouth.
Okay, well, seeing as it's after 10 and we do have a quorum, we can get started. And as other members join the call, we can acknowledge that they're attending as well. So, welcome everyone to the June 16th meeting of the Old Colony Metropolitan Planning Organization. This meeting is called to order. Uh, I will read the accessibility statement. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. If you would like this accommodation, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. Thank you. There's also the notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries with regards to the federal Title VI/non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections included on this meeting's agenda, and it is available on the Old Colony Planning Council's website at https://oldcolonyplanning.org. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you. Charlie, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, Derek Schuster.
Derek Schuster, representing MassDOT Secretary, Interim Secretary and CEO Phil Eng, here.
Barbara LaChance.
Barbara LaChance, representing Undersecretary and Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver.
Dan Salvucci.
Present.
Michael Lambert.
Present.
And then Becky Coletta.
Present, on behalf of Old Colony Council.
Great, thank you. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. And I don't believe we have any ex officio members present.
Yeah, there's no federal highway, no federal transit attending today.
Okay.
We do have Dan Salvucci, who is the vice chair of the JTC, though. He's wearing two hats tonight.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Next item on the agenda is opportunity for public comment. If there are any members of the public wishing to make comment at this time, please use the raise hand feature on Zoom at this time. I'm not seeing any raised hands. If anyone, oh, Charlie, I see yours is raised.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. We have a momentous day today. It's a mixed blessing. Some might say it's good and bad. We have a staff member who's departing OCPC. Today is his last day in the office. His name is Matt Dyer, and he'll be transitioning over to the new role as the Assistant Town Administrator in the town of Whitman beginning July 1st. So as part of the public comment period, I'd like just to publicly thank Matt for his years of service at Old Colony Planning Council. He's been an inspiration to many people. He's truly made a difference. He's elevated our culvert program. And Sean, if you could go to the next slide. There's Matt in the field doing a culvert assessment. So that's one of the new aspects that he's added to our toolkit here at Old Colony Planning Council. And we will be forever grateful. Thank you, Matt. So.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working with the MPO.
Heard you're going to still be in the ecosystem, Matt, which is exciting. Go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
No, and we're having a little luncheon today to celebrate Matt's last day. It is bittersweet, but Charlie really did summarize. I mean, Matt has come from various different backgrounds, has really implemented how transportation and comprehensive planning, as well as other avenues of our organization. And we're glad to be having him be the Assistant Town Administrator for the town of Whitman, and be looking forward to that, continuing that relationship. So thank you again, Matt, for all your hard work and elevating OCPC.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I may, Dan Salvucci, as being Vice Chair of the Board of Selectmen, I'm glad that Matt is going to be joining us, and I look forward to him learning about different parts of county, town government, and pick up certain areas. I know he's very strong on other areas. And I'm certainly sure that he will learn very quickly and possibly increase in future endeavors as years go by. So welcome, Matt, and we'll see you at the town hall.
See you there. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Great work, Matt, and we look forward to working with you from a Brockton Area Transit Advisory Board point of view.
Thank you.
All right. If there are no other public comments at this time, we can move on to the next agenda topic. However, if there are any public comments through today's meeting, please use the raise hand feature and wait to be called on by the chair. Next item is potential action to approve the meeting minutes from May 19th. The meeting minutes were shared in advance of today's MPO meeting. Could I please have a motion and second to approve the MPO meeting minutes from May 19th?
I'll motion Dan Salvucci.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments, changes, or revisions to the meeting minutes from May 19th? Seeing and hearing none, Charlie, please call the roll.
Derek Schuster,
Yes.
Barbara LaChance,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Mike Lambert,
Yes.
Becky Coletta.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. I believe the next agenda item is a report from Brockton Area Transit. Mike?
Thank you very much, Chair. Two items today. First, on ridership front, we had a very good April and May, which exceeded those months from last year, which is good because obviously we took a pretty good hit with the winter weather. So it's good to see ridership bouncing back nicely. But we'll provide an end of year report at the next meeting. Other update is regarding electric buses. We have 4 of 5 new electric buses on site, and the 5th is passing through Wyoming currently on its way here. So once we have all 5, that will double the size of our electric fleet. We're getting close to purchasing the first of our solar panels as well, which will provide shelter to the buses and then of course energy for battery storage and resiliency.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Are there any questions for BAT at this time? All right. Thanks for that update and congrats on the EV buses. That's exciting. Next report from GATRA.
We're just hanging out doing nothing right now.
Okay.
We are gearing up. We have rolled out Sunday service in Taunton and Attleboro. We are still working on hiring more drivers so that we can expand the Sunday service to the Plymouth Wareham routes. We are hoping by summer to be able to do that. The Gateway Link continues to perform beyond expectations, moving over 5,000 people a month. So we knew the need to move people between Brockton, Taunton, and Fall River was strong. And this really has shown us that program is something well worth investing in. And other than that, I have Iraq Norway at 6 o'clock tonight. So I will be jumping off this call after our report.
All right. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Are there any questions for GATRA? I did want to acknowledge I read good feedback publicly. I forget if it was the Globe or Boston Business Journal about transit operations around the World Cup have been going smoothly. So keep it up.
The team at the T has been amazing to work with. So I think we're going to be able to, we moved 950 people on Saturday night.
Fun. All right. Well, we'll move on from the GATRA report. Thank you. Next item is the federal fiscal year 2026-2030 Old Colony Transportation Improvement Program TIP adjustments and/or amendments. Do we have Bill?
Yep. Thank you, Chair. So there are no pending action items for the MPO this time on the 2026 to 2030 TIP, and the program projects for FFY 2026 are being advertised this year, so we're in good shape.
Thank you, Bill. There's no questions on the tip item. We can move on to a presentation on the MassDOT 2027 to 2031 Capital Improvement Program. Sorry, Capital Investment Plan overview. And I believe we have Michelle Scott to present on this.
Good afternoon, or good morning, everyone. Can you let me know if the presentation is showing up for you all?
It is showing up.
All right, wonderful. So thanks so much for the opportunity to speak to you all today. My name is Michelle Scott. I'm the manager of capital planning at MassDOT, and happy to take some time to share with you our 27 to 31 capital investment plan and to talk a little bit about the relationship of this plan to the work that you all do at the regional level in coordination with Chair and MPO activities team for regional planning and how these two interconnect. So just a little bit by way of overview, our capital investment plan is our rolling 5-year plan that funds the planning, construction, and capital maintenance of the Commonwealth's transportation system. This is a little distinct from the STIP, and that is a cash flow based plan. So it shows the full timeline over multiple years of spending for projects that are under implementation. At any given time, our CIP is a mix of projects that are currently underway as well as projects that are getting underway during that 5-year rolling period. So our CIP includes a variety of investment types ranging from roads and bridges to bicycle and pedestrian facilities, state-funded transit items, both for the MBTA as well as for the Commonwealth's regional transit authorities, our state rail network, which moves both passengers and freight, public use airports, enterprise-wide services for MassDOT, and capital assets for the Registry of Motor Vehicles. The diagram on the right of the slide here shows the basic organizing framework for our CIP. We're guided by major transportation plans and priorities set at the federal and state level, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. These inform the creation of CIP investment programs that serve as buckets for different types of investments. They may be organized by project type, such as our bridge program, or by theme, as is the case with our resiliency improvements program. And each of these, again, serves as the container within the CIP for different types of projects, all of which are geared towards improving transportation outcomes for the people who live, work, and play in Massachusetts. So a little bit more about way of the priorities that guide our high-level strategy for the CIP. Our key document and North Star for policy development MassDOT, including for capital investment, is the Beyond Mobility Statewide Long-Range Transportation Plan, which was approved in July of 2024. Following an extensive public engagement process that informed various aspects of the plan, the plan was oriented around 6 key priority areas, which again form the major priority areas for our capital investment plan. These include safety, reliability, which refers to predictable travel times on our network, travel experience, which accounts for the ease of use, comfort, easy navigability, and affordability of our transportation system, supporting clean transportation, which accounts for the decarbonization and electrification and support for low carbon modes, resiliency to hazards and weather events that are increasing under climate change, and destination connectivity, which accounts for enabling people to get to the destinations that they need and want to reach, and having a variety of modal options to get there. So all of these major principles are guiding both our CIP decisions as well as other policy initiatives that MassDOT works on with its transportation planning partners in Massachusetts. So a little bit more by way of the capital investment plan and its relationship to the STIP. We have a variety of funding sources that go into the CIP that I'll talk about in a minute. Federal funding, of course, is a key component of that. As a result, the decisions that are made at the regional level through the Metropolitan Planning 3C process are an important component of what the CIP looks like overall. So the diagram on the left portion of the slide shows the CIP in its entirety. The green boxes highlight the areas that overlap with the State Transportation Improvement Program, or the STIP. They include the Federal Aid Highway Program, inclusive of projects that are both selected by the metropolitan planning organizations, as well as those that are proposed by MassDOT and reviewed and approved by the MPOs. Also includes federal transit funding that comes to MassDOT that supports the regional transit authorities, as well as the state match, both for MassDOT received federal transit dollars and matching dollars provided to the RTAs. The other parts shown in blue on the diagram highlight other components of the CIP. You can see as these boxes represent the relative size of the various components of the CIP, the decisions that are made through the regional planning process are a huge component of what we do. Just want to note that there are some STIP-related elements that fall outside of the CIP. These primarily relate to federal funds that go directly to transit agencies, both the MBTA and the RTAs, as well as federal grants that go direct to municipalities. So to talk a little bit more about our process, our timeline for developing the CIP, which we do each year, runs about 9 to 10 months. This diagram here shows in those long bars the major steps involved in putting together the CIP, ranging from at the beginning establishing key needs and priorities, then moving through establishing our programs, identifying and refining our funding resources, and then incorporating selected investments into a final plan. We're coming up on the end of our CIP process for this year. And I'll reference this again later, but we're having our final presentation to the MassDOT Board of Directors, which is responsible for reviewing and approving the CIP for MassDOT tomorrow. So if you want to tune in, those events are live streamed. And at that point, we'll be presenting both the results of our CIP public engagement process, as well as any proposed changes to our draft CIP for their consideration and hopefully their approval. So now to talk a bit more about the funding sources that go into the CIP, you can see 4 major categories on this slide. The first, of course, we've talked a little bit about federal funding already. The CIP is reflective of both formula dollars that come from various USDOT modal administrations, as well as competitive grant funding that is awarded to and or being administered by MassDOT. On the state side, we have a variety of bond initiatives that support transportation capital investment. A cornerstone for us is, of course, general obligation bond proceeds, which we call state bond cap, but we have a number of other special bond initiatives related to transportation. And I'll talk a little bit more about the expanded Commonwealth Transportation Fund bonds in more detail in a minute, as that's a key highlight for our CIP development this cycle. Other major sources include toll revenues from our toll facilities on the Metropolitan Highway System in Tobin Bridge in Greater Boston and on the Western Turnpike, as well as a variety of other sources, be they from state funds and trusts, municipal or local or third-party contributions, etc. So this CTF expansion, which is, we've first supported our CIP from last year for 26 to 30 and is a major component of our CIP for 27 to 31, is supported by the Fair Share Amendment, the surtax that was passed several years ago, with revenues being utilized for both education and transportation. So a policy initiative that was first introduced in the fiscal year 25 state budget process was to transfer some of the revenues for transportation to the Commonwealth Transportation Fund. And what this does is enables us to bond against them, which is crucial for really being able to implement those transformative multi-year transportation improvement projects needed throughout the Commonwealth. And so these funds, which were very appreciative for the Healey-Driscoll administration, the legislature, and the residents of Massachusetts to be able to access, our utilization of these funds is guided by a plan laid out by the Healey-Driscoll administration for using these revenues as part of a broader plan to make historic investments in transportation. So specifically for this funding source, there's approximately $2.5 billion from MassDOT, another $1.5 billion specifically for the Chapter 90 program, and then another $1.45 billion for the MBTA. And the table on the right of the slide highlights the major investment areas that these funds will be directed towards as we integrate them into our capital investment plans. So now to talk about the spending details in the CIP itself. This chart highlights spending within the CIP by source. We have approximately a $20.7 billion plan. This is up just over $2 billion from our 26 to 30 plan. And a major component of that, of course, is the integration of the CTF expansion dollars into our available revenues for investment. You can also see other major contributors, of course, federal funding coming from various sources, but predominantly from the Federal Highway Administration, as well as other state bonding sources. These two tables here highlight major areas of investment within the CIP. The chart on the left highlighting with the bars in green our top 10 MassDOT capital investment programs and the relative level of investment in each. You can see that far and away our largest is our bridge program at over $7 billion in investments for a variety of types of projects ranging from major replacement and rehabilitation work to preservation work that keeps our bridges from slipping from fair into poor condition, as well as initiatives supporting bridges at the municipal level. One of the things that the CTF expansion dollars I referenced is enabling for the upcoming 5 years is investment through what's called the Funding for Accelerated Infrastructure Repair, or FAIR program, which is specifically geared towards replacing municipal small bridges that are in need of that improvement. Other major investment types, of course, under our roadway reconstruction program, which supports major corridor and interchange work throughout the Commonwealth. Chapter 90, investments in mega projects for the Commonwealth, including the Cape Cod bridges, as well as the Alston Multimodal Transportation Project in Greater Boston. A variety of interstate and non-interstate pavement investments, roadway improvements, bicycle pedestrian work, etc. The chart on the right with the purple bars highlights how the CTF expansion dollars in our CIP are being directed. One thing to note is we, as I've mentioned earlier, do include state-supported investments for the MBTA. So an extensive portion of the CTF expansion dollars are going to MBTA investments that I'll talk more about momentarily. Chapter 90, again, major support provided by the CTF expansion, as well as investments in bridges, pavements and roadways, culverts, and addressing safety and congestion hotspots. So a major cornerstone of our CIP continues to be programs that support partnerships with municipalities. I should correct the value on here. We're actually up over $2 billion in funding for municipal programs for 27 to 31. This includes at its heart the Chapter 90 program, but also a variety of longstanding programs that MassDOT has continued from prior years, including the Complete Streets program, municipal pavement and municipal small bridge programs, local bottlenecks, and others. I do want to highlight a couple of relatively new initiatives where there is now a community culverts program that was launched late last year, where municipalities can apply for funding to improve culverts at the local level. Also want to highlight the local early stage and actionable planning program, a relatively new initiative that's specifically geared towards helping municipalities get capital investment projects off the ground. And this program offers technical assistance services like support for safety analysis, traffic analysis, being a thought partner for concept development, and even helping to support applications to various grant processes to get that capital investment to support project implementation. I want to note that these various investment programs are highlighted under our Grant Central online application, where you can learn more about project eligibility, how to apply for different programs, and things of that nature. So I want to share some major project level investment highlights within the CIP. Again, these are Commonwealth-wide, and I'll be sharing some more details for the Old Colony region shortly. I've referenced the major mega projects earlier, Cape Cod Bridges and Alston Multimodal Project. We also have a variety of major interchange and bridge investment work planned throughout the Commonwealth, including one of more local examples includes the Route I-95, Route 18 interchange rehabilitation work currently happening in New Bedford. Major investments for the MBTA include the state spending, of course, from various sources, including those CTF expansion dollars. Do want to note that the MBTA has also recently finalized their separate capital investment plan. So that's available on their website. The key difference between theirs and ours is theirs references the full complement of funding sources and associated projects that support the MBTA, whereas ours is focused specifically on state spending. But this is supporting a variety of major projects, including the Arborway bus maintenance facility in Boston that'll support integration of an electric fleet for the MBTA, a number of investments in the commuter rail system, including the commuter rail coach and passenger locomotive improvement, as well as a variety of other investments supporting the rapid transit and other systems within the greater Boston area. I do want to note, one major highlight investment for the MBTA is that in recent years, of course, has been the South Coast Rail project. Do want to note that we do continue to have some spending for the tail end of the project that was recently implemented within the CIP as well. So just want to provide some more local highlights for the Old Colony region. This is by no means meant to be an exhaustive list, but want to highlight the different types of projects that are included in the CIP and tie them back, to some degree to our Beyond Mobility priority areas. So this slide highlights a number of the roadway and bridge investments, which again are key components to support both a good travel experience on the Commonwealth's network, as well as support predictable travel and more reliable travel times. So you can see highlights including various intersection improvement projects, such as those in Abington and Avon, the Bridgewater Bridge Rehabilitation Project. Do want to highlight the extensive investment in the Powder Point Bridge replacement plan for Duxbury, etc. This slide shows a couple of other examples of investments planned for the region, some in that climate and resiliency area, specifically electric bus and infrastructure investments for the Brockton Area Transit Authority. Again, these highlight the state spending specifically for those investments to support active transportation, planned bicycle and pedestrian improvements on Route 123 in Brockton and Abington, as well as a number of other transit and air highlights, including investments for runway and taxiway construction at Plymouth Municipal Airport. So just want to close with some details about, we recently concluded a public engagement process for the CIP. Our draft is currently available on our website. We'll be finalizing and updating our final CIP to that same webpage following our presentation and the board's approval of our final CIP. Again, we'll be making that presentation tomorrow at the MassDOT Board of Directors meeting, which can be streamed online if you're interested in tuning into that, in support of a CIP that, if approved by the board, would go into effect on July 1st. So I want to thank everybody for your attention this morning. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. We had a lot of activity in the webinar chat. I just wanted to call attention to before we take questions. So there was a question on the availability of this slide deck. Charlie went ahead and shared it in the link, and I think MPO staff can also include it on their website for people not attending the Zoom if they require access to this slide deck. There was also a question about the South Coast Rail full build items, which I think was asked shortly before you addressed those as well, Michelle. But John, if you have further questions on that, just raise your hand and we can elaborate further. And Charlie also shared the web link for the current capital investment plan for the MBTA, which was mentioned during Michelle's presentation. which is distinctive from the Massachusetts CIP, as noted. Charlie, did you have anything else you wanted to add? I saw your hand raised briefly.
No, thank you, Chair. I was just going to flag John Fay's comment about the full build, and our understanding is that full build is still to be determined whether that's go or no go.
That's correct, Charlie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Michelle. Thank you, Chair.
Are there any other questions for Michelle on the fiscal year 27 to 31 CIP? I'm not seeing any. Thank you for presenting, Michelle, and good luck tomorrow at your board meeting.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
All right. We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is the draft federal fiscal year 2027 Unified Planning Work Program. As you may recall, this was released at last month's meeting. Charlie, are you presenting on this?
Yes.
All right, when you're ready.
So thank you, Chair. So the draft Unified Planning Work Program has completed its public review and comment period. Next slide, we have our public comment matrix. The plan was approved by the Old Colony Planning Council Board of Directors at their May 27th meeting. The draft UPWP was reviewed and approved by the Joint Transportation Committee at their June 4th meeting. And then Christina Mendoza of the MassDOT Office of Transportation Planning provided the review comments and document checklist. In response to Christina's review and checklist, we've prepared a revised draft version reflective of all of the comments provided. And I'd just like to thank Christina's for the review, and it took a good document and only made it better. And post endorsement, if there's any outlying issues, we can certainly incorporate that into a final version. But staff's recommendation at this point would be to for the MPO to consider any additional public comments and consider endorsement as revised.
Thank you, Charlie. Are there any questions from the board or further comment from anyone attending today on the draft 2027 Unified Planning Work Program? Seeing and hearing none, could I please have a motion and second to endorse the federal fiscal year 2027 Old Colony MPO UPWP?
I'll
So moved.
motion. Okay, go ahead. Who is going to motion?
I move that we accept it.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Dan. Charlie, please call the roll.
Derek Schuster,
Yes, and congratulations.
thank you. Barbara LaChance,
Yes.
Kimberly Emberg,
Yes.
thank you. James Downey,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Mike Lambert,
Yes.
Becky Coletta,
Yes.
and I was going to check with Chike. Are you representing Brockton today? Not sure. But motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Draft Coordinated Human Services Transportation Plan, the CHSTP. Who's presenting on this?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you. So as you all remember, I presented the draft 2026 Coordinated Human Services Transportation Plan at last month's meeting. It was put out for a 21-day public review and comment period that concluded on June 12th. And here is the comment matrix. In the early stages of the process, we sent this out to our councils on aging in our region, as well as the RTAs and other transportation partners, and had a Brockton Council on Aging reviewed and requested a meeting to discuss the development of Brockton's new transportation program. So I met with them to discuss the funding options. Also had conversations with the Duxbury Council on Aging. She reviewed and provided comments and suggestions, as did Mary Ellen DeFrias from GATRA, David Klein of the Old Colony Area Agency on Aging, as well as Brockton Area Transit. And then lastly, it was reviewed and approved by both the Old Colony Planning Council Board of Directors and the Old Colony Joint Transportation Committee. And now looking for a endorsement of this document.
Thank you, Sean. Are there any questions for Sean or staff on the CHSTP or comments received? Seeing and hearing none, could we please have a motion and second to endorse the CHSTP update?
Motion, Dan from Whitman.
Thank you, Dan.
Second.
Thank you, Becky. Charlie, when ready, please call the roll.
Derek Schuster,
Yes.
Barbara LaChance,
Yes.
Kimberly Emberg,
Yes.
James Downey,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Mike Lambert, and Becky Coletta.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Excellent, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Sean and Charlie, when this is posted to your website, please share the link with MassDOT so we can make reference to it on the MassDOT webpage as well. Thank you. Next item is corridor study updates. Who
Mr.
has
Chair,
these?
I'll be presenting the update for corridor studies. Good
Take it
morning,
away.
everyone. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Guo Chang Li. I'm the Principal Transportation Planner with OCPC, also the Project Manager for the corridor studies. And today, we are going to present 2 corridor studies in OCPC region. I'm going to start with the Route 80 corridor in Plymouth and Kingston. And my colleague, Bill, also the co-manager for the corridor study, will be presenting Pembroke Route 53/139 corridor. So as you may already know, Route 80 corridor, it's in Kingston and Plymouth. So portion of the corridor it's owned and maintained by MassDOT, starting from Indian Pond Road, Elm Street, all the way to the south to Carver Road. So we were very fortunate. We have a wide collaboration and input assistance from MassDOT and the town of Kingston and Plymouth. So we were successfully hosted 2 public meetings and several coordination meetings with the town and MassDOT District 5. So a couple top safety concerns that have been identified throughout the corridor study, including the intersection and corridor operation and safety, and also followed by the safe speed. Although there's no speeding issue based on the post limit, but it was identified that the corridor was not safe for other transportation mode, including bicyclists and pedestrians. As you all know, along the long Route 80 corridor, there's a discontinuity with the sidewalk, apologize, and a lack of safe crossings for Route 80. Throughout the public survey, we received over 150 responses based on those observation and input with the help from the communities. And MassDOT, we also look into future consideration for improvement, including how we can accommodate the safety operation for non-vehicle transportations, including pedestrians and bicyclists. Traffic calming seem to be a good strategy for the consideration. Also, it has been raised multiple times about the preservation of the green space, natural resource, and the wildlife, natural species along the corridor and the vicinity area. Not to include inclusive items for future improvement. There's another item is as I spoke earlier, it's bicycling and walking accommodations. How can we effectively accommodate the need, not only for current situation, but also for the latent demand for biking and walking needs. Next, please. And so the reason why there is speeding or unsafe speed along road corridor really coming from the identification of current situation. There is a high, really high through traffic along Route 80, as well as some seasonal travelers, tourists, and high percentage of shopping purpose trips along Route 80. So among multiple intersection that we have studied through synchro analysis, capacity analysis, and the review of the historic collision patterns. We have identified a couple, location for improvements, including the Route 3A intersection at Route 80, which is to the north of our study area, including the signal upgrade, pavement marking, in due to biking and walking safety improvements. Route 80 at the Commerce Way intersection is the signalized intersection leading to the Old Colony shopping area. This location has slightly above the state and District 5 collision average based on the 2018 data. There is a potential for signalization improvements such as the yellow and red clearance time improvement. And the southern portion of the study area is the cover road at Route 80 that include the signalization upgrade and pedestrian crossing safety improvement for consideration. So, like I said, the pedestrian crossing, bicycling along the corridor, it's one of our main finding for the corridor study, and as well as the natural resource preservation. And appreciate that Matt and his team have done a really good job in covered assessment, and the draft report is ready for that chapter is completed and will be reviewed by MassDOT and the community. So for the next step, next please. So our team will be preparing the draft report. I apologize, I have not included all the details in this presentation, but will be in the draft report. We plan to have the draft report ready for MassDOT District 5 and our communities to review in August. And we will post the draft report or the meeting documentation on our OCPC website, and public will have another opportunity to review and provide comments in September. So we plan to wrap up the corridor study in September. I know this is really a start for a corridor study, and any consideration for future engineering study will be included in the draft report. And any questions? We can also hold on to the questions until my colleague Bill complete his presentation on Route 53 139 study. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Kuo-jing. Are there any questions on the Route 80 corridor study in Kingston and Plymouth as presented? All right, I'm not seeing any. Thanks again for presenting on the study. I will move on to Bill's presentation for Route 53 and 139.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Kuo-jing. So the timeline for this study parallels this Route 80 study that Kuo-jing just spoke of. We did have a robust public outreach and engagement process that included the public survey, included coordination meetings with both MassDOT and the town of Pembroke, town officials, and most recently we had a public meeting, and this resulted in a very successful process where we got a lot of great feedback. The great thing about this feedback was it focused on a bunch of different areas. So we, as planners, we already knew of the capacity restraints and congestion occurring in the interchange area of Route 139 and Route 3 in Pembroke. But then we, through this engagement process, there was a lot of focus on other areas as well, multimodal focus with bicycle and pedestrian access and mobility and safety along the corridor, land use. There's a very large residential development being developed off of Oak Street, which is just off of 139. There's also potential for more high-density residential development around that interchange as well. So that's definitely near keeping an eye on, where a lot more trips will put even more stress on an already congested network. But then when you get away from that interchange, the focus shifts from congestion to speed management. There's fairly high travel speeds on the western portion of this corridor, and there's also a lot of environmental concerns as well with the North River and crossing underneath Route 139 into a nature preserve on the south side of 139. So I just want to go to the next one. So this the combination of our data collection and analysis and our expertise in the office, as well as this public engagement process, has really given us a great base to build a corridor study that's going to help frame plan to make this really a multimodal network. Some of the main some main challenges that were brought up, I guess, the travel speeds and the bottleneck. Left turn storage is a major contributing factor to that bottleneck. Travel demand and the bicycle and pedestrian issue, especially the fact that this corridor is acting as a physical barrier for pedestrians and bicyclists trying to get from one side of 139 to the other. So again, the timeline, like I said, parallels through an 80 corridor study. So our public engagement and outreach process is largely complete, although the materials still reside on our website, and still plenty of time for people to comment and submit feedback. But at this point, we're in the report development stage, and by a little later this summer, we'll have a completed draft that will be circulated to first to the town of Pembroke and our MassDOT colleagues for first look before it goes to a general public review and comment period. And this corridor study will be finalized by the end of September at the end of the program year.
Thank you,
And
Bill.
that's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the Route 53 and 139 corridor study in Pembroke as presented by Bill? Not seeing any hands. All right.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the report. Next item on the agenda is administrative matters, other business, and date and time of next meeting. Go ahead, Charlie.
Thank you, Chair. We have a couple of announcements for the attendees today. And the first and foremost, you can see on your screen here is our colleagues at MassDOT are holding a public hearing for the part of the Canal Bridge project, in particular the Sagamore Bridge replacement. It's going to be held on Thursday, June 23rd at 6 p.m. at Bourne High School, 75 Waterhouse Road. Next. And next is you heard earlier about some of the projects in the region. There's a Brockton Abington bicycle and pedestrian improvements on Route 123. There's a design public hearing on July 28th at 6 p.m. So that's great news. Just as an FYI, that's programmed in 2029, if I'm not mistaken, in the tip. So next slide. And then our friends at the FFIO, the Federal Funds Infrastructure Office, are having their monthly meeting. And these monthly meetings are a great resource. There's a lot of technical assistance opportunities discussed and grant opportunities provided. So it's really a wealth of knowledge, and we encourage folks to attend and learn more about these opportunities and assistance. So their meeting's on June 23rd at 2 o'clock. Next. And upcoming in Brockton on June 23rd at 6 p.m. is Walk Massachusetts, in partnership with the City of Brockton and Old Colony Planning Council, are holding a Campello walk audit. And folks are going to meet at 6 p.m. at the Campello High Rise. This is a continuing effort to address bicycle and pedestrian and safety improvements in the City of Brockton through the wonderful efforts of Walk Massachusetts. And it's some really strong results coming out of this effort. So we're happy to and thankful to participate in this. Next. So shifting gears a little bit, some might say we don't talk about food action plans enough, but here we go. So out for a public review and comment period is the Regional Food Action Plan. This is a 10-year framework to strengthen the food system in the region. This plan was developed by funding from multiple entities, including the Massachusetts Municipal Vulnerability Program, the Harbor One Foundation, Plymouth County, and let's see, there's one more. And the Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital. So the planning team on this, we included a steering committee, I should say the comprehensive planning team under the leadership of Joanne Zigman had a steering committee, but they were assisted with the Barrett Planning Group, the Marion Institute, and Plymouth County staff themselves. So this is an opportunity for the public review and comment period. It closes June 24th at midnight. And earlier we posted the flyer and information in the chat. So this is a wonderful plan for folks to review, and I encourage you all to take a look at it because, steps outside of our normal 3C planning document and the TIP and the long range plan. This food action plan resiliency touches on, the stressors to the local food system, including increasing costs, climate change, but also aging infrastructure is a key thing that was pointed out in this action plan. So it's worth taking a look and write some comments.
Charlie, I have
Next
a
slide.
question about the food plan. Was that coordinated with abutting regions as well? I know Southeast Mass similarly developed a food access plan in the last year.
I do not know the answer to that, but I would assume so.
I can answer that. Yes, we are working. So Old Colony Planning Council received their own MVP, but we are also part of funding with Southeastern Regional Planning. So we're covering all ends, and then even in this MAPC is part of our number of communities. So to your question, yes, we try our best as a regional planning agencies to incorporate all of our abutting communities.
Great. Yeah, I know that food access sometimes goes beyond the traditional borders of an MPO or regional planning area. I used to do work with Greater Boston Food Bank in another life, and I know they're a very wide net across the whole Commonwealth. So it's exciting. I look forward to reviewing the plan. You're on a roll, Charlie. Keep going.
Okay, next please. So some exciting news here is save the dates for upcoming meetings. As the MPO has completed the 3C document cycle, these are tentative dates as of yet. We don't see any tip actions on the immediate horizon. As Bill pointed out, the Brockton Plymouth at Center Street intersection is scheduled for advertisement July 18th. So that's great news to see that going out for construction bids, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. So.
Yeah, so we're hoping to not have any tip actions for you as well from MassDOT. So crossing our fingers and certainly a week or two in advance of the scheduled meetings for the 21st and August 18th. Please, board members, just be on the lookout for a formal cancellation notice before making plans not to attend a meeting. Are there any other questions or other business at this time?
I just want to say a note.
Go ahead, Becky.
Stepping down as OCPC president at the end of the month and stepping off of OCPC. So it's been great to work with you guys on the MPO, and you will have a new representative as president of the OCPC next month, which we will be selecting at our annual meeting next week. So thank you guys, and it will be I will see you guys down the road.
Thank you, Becky. Fun working together.
Becky's just an amazing president of the council and interactive with not just only staff, but with many organizations. She'll be missed.
All right. If there's no other business, could I please have a motion and second to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Go ahead, Becky. Ed, you can motion.
I'll
We
make that
got the motion from Becky. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, and I'll second it.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any objections? Any abstentions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Everyone have an excellent rest of your summer if we don't see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yep.